Highlander. Chapter 2. Reflection 3. There are moments when the land itself tells the truth you've spent your whole life trying not to hear. Moments when the wind off the ridge doesn't just move the branches, it moves the memory inside you. Moments when the bones scattered on the desert floor stop being relics of old animals and start becoming the remains of the lies we told ourselves to survive. That is what Chapter 2 revealed. Antonio walking the length of the valley with the sun behind him, pretending he was only taking inventory of the day. But the land knew better. The land always knows. The mountains had seen this story long before he lived it. They have witnessed abandonment for generations, watched men rise and fall under the weight of truths they never learned how to face. Abandonment is not just an event, it is a landscape. Antonio walked that landscape alone, boots kicking dust from a path he did not choose. The wash beside him, once full of water, now dry and fractured, mirrored exactly what had happened inside him. A riverbed drained without warning, a life emptied without explanation. And this is the lie abandonment teaches, that the drying of the river was somehow the river's fault. Antonio wrestles with that lie every time he steps into the doorway of his workshop, hands covered in dust and honey, listening for a voice that will never call back. He wrestles with it when he tucks away the toys in his child's room, shaping a future meant for two that now rests on his shoulders alone. He wrestles with it when the silence settles heavy across the valley, heavier than any pack he carried in the high country. But here is the truth the land forces him to see. The man who is abandoned and the one who abandons do not walk the same trail. Antonio is thrust into the fire without preparation. He must make sense of the wreckage. He must stand in the valley and confront the echoes of his father's silence and his grandfather's resignation. The old Palacios curse moves with him, a shadow that refuses to lose track of him. Yet even with that weight, he keeps walking, keeps listening, keeps searching for the meaning carved into the terrain of his own undoing. But the one who abandons lives a different story. They move from life to life like a dust devil tearing through open ground, pulling pieces loose, leaving confusion behind. They mistake motion for progress. They mistake silence for peace. They mistake the absence of consequence for the absence of responsibility. They believe they have escaped the valley, but they carry the valley inside them. And the people of the valley, the ones who watched Antonio unravel without a word, play their part as well. Their silence is not protection, it is participation. It is the same old truth kept in boxes. It is the same generational wound passed forward because no one wants to open it. Their refusal to speak creates another man forced to rise alone. Antonio's rise is not noble, it is necessary. He rises because the land will not carry him. He rises because the wound demands transformation. He rises because the alternative is to become another ghost wandering the desert, pretending he is still alive. The abandoned are pushed into awakening. The abandoner delays their suffering by avoiding it. The abandoned become healers, leaders, storytellers, and witness bearers. The abandoner becomes a wanderer, chasing the echo of a shadow they created. This is the divergence the valley reveals. Antonio did not rise because he was strong. He rose because there was no other path that led anywhere but deeper into ruin. And now the reflection becomes the question. What will you do with the valley you inherited? Will you keep walking in circles and call it safety? Or will you face the dry riverbed and admit what emptied it? The breaking was not the end of Antonio's story, and it is not the end of yours. It is the beginning of the truth that finally demands to be lived.